All members are present with the exception of Kevin Cox and Megan Glass. Okay, first order of business, consider approval of consider approval of the minutes from the regular Community Development Corporation meeting held on July 22nd, 2025. Anyone?
Oh, to make I thought y'all were reading them. I'd like to make a motion.
Oh, I'm not going to read the whole agenda.
Everybody's
no.
flipping, and I was like,
That
well,
was
I
a
was
whole
waiting for
agenda.
everyone to read it.
I was looking for the end of the draft.
I make
Okay.
a motion.
Thank you. Anyone second?
I'll second the motion.
Well, we have a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, item number, wow, we had to approve the minutes from October 23rd and January 12th, 2026, didn't we?
Yeah, didn't you speed read all the minutes?
No,
That's
I
what
was
you were
on the
doing?
I was on the minutes from the last one.
I make
Okay.
a motion for the correction to approve those minutes on October 23rd, 2025 and January 12th, 2026.
And
I'll second the
Is that
motion.
okay? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, no opposed? All right. Item number 4, staff, well, is there any, I didn't do number 2, is there any visitor comments? Okay. Okay.
No visitor comments.
All right. Okay, number 4, staff to provide updated information on Doubletree Ranch Park shade structure. Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sorry, I get my papers in order.
That's okay.
Apologize.
We struggled to get started up here too, so.
I don't have that.
You're headed the right direction.
Is the agenda briefing
Yeah.
there?
It's just a lot of drafts.
Sorry, I thought I had it in my packet, but it wasn't there.
I apologize.
No worries.
No, what the heck is this?
Look at that
Look at you.
I don't know what the hell I did, just bang it.
You didn't put them in here. Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Sorry for the wait. Good evening. Just here tonight to make a correction. There was a mistake in the presentation before about the chessboard shade structure, about the size of the structure. It was stated in the presentation and on one of the slides that it was a 50 by 50 structure. It's actually not that large. The actual structure is 30 by 30. The entire shade, the base of that shade where the turf area is, that's the part that's actually 50 by 50. So apologize for the misprint on that.
So the original structure then was inside the boundaries of that chest, not outside the boundaries?
Yes, exactly. I'll show you. This is a picture of it. The yellow line is the original structure.
Okay.
The blue line is the new structure. It's going to be a little smaller, but it's going to be very close to the same shade footprint. We have to make it a little bit smaller inside of those existing posts because there's some pretty large footers in the ground, and so we have to put the new footers inside of that.
Are they not going to be removed?
No, those won't be removed. They'll be cut off below ground, and just because if we take them out and remove them, it would cause a lot more damage to the turf and be a lot bigger project to replace all the turf. Be a lot more expensive.
So can we, sorry.
Go ahead, no, go ahead.
Can we talk about that a little bit? So what are we going to do once you're going to remove the shade structure, you're going to cut the metal post below ground? What do we do to mitigate any potential fall damage or harm that's, I mean, at what point is there metal still buried into that ground? That's a potential risk for us.
It'll be at least a foot below ground level.
Okay.
And that'll be filled back in and packed in.
Filled in
to
with-
match the rest of the surface, and also the turf on top of it will be patched and repaired.
So at least a foot below grade.
Yes.
Okay. And it's all turf now, so you're just going to dig out or cut out a piece of the turf?
Yeah, those posts they're 12 by 12, so we'll cut out a piece of that turf, or there'll be a piece missing when those are removed, and they'll patch, the original installer will come out and patch that turf. Yeah. They've done that for us before. They do a real good job.
Okay. So it's not going to look like a square patch?
No, and we can even, sometimes they'll allow us to put some type of feature there that's in the turf that could be a play type feature, like a hopscotch or a picture or a QR code, stuff like that. So, yeah.
And sorry, one last question. Is it a potential maintenance concern for us going forward, the patches that are going to be sitting on these
No.
poles? Okay.
The patches we've done in the past have held up really well. They do a
Okay.
good job, yep.
Anybody else? Mike? Any questions?
Nope.
Okay.
So, I'm concerned about the reduction of overall size and the shade available to it. Couple of things, I guess, is we're compacting the general area of the play area, but what's actually being done in there? Are we putting the chess pieces back, or is this going to be just a sitting area for people?
For now, it's just going to be a sitting area.
There's no plans to put any of the chess pieces back and make it a chess board again?
No, there are no plans to do that at this time. We did discuss in the last meeting that maybe in the future, some elements could be added to this area as another project, but for now, this would just be for shade. Because a lot of people do sit there while the kids are on the playground. Some of the mommy exercise classes, they sit over there and use that area too. So it's mainly just a shaded area for the users of the playground right now.
You know, the cost of this, if it's just going to be used as a shaded area, that's an expensive shade area. It's a very expensive shade area.
I think last time we talked about the possibility of, and that, again, would probably be another project to your point, tables, chairs, or something. Does this have rental possibility, the possibility of being rented out or whatever the case? Might make that a little bit more warranted, but in the meantime, yeah, it's an expensive shade structure. The cost, what I can't recall, and it may be in this information, the cost that was given last time, was it based on the size that's in the blue there? Did they dial in the cost more by, you know, when that?
No, it was the cost for this size. It was just a mistake on that slide in the presentation. It should have said 30 by 30, but it said 50 by 50.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the same. And this is what the structure looks like.
Okay.
It matches the type of shade we have on the playground structure as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Although smaller. I guess I'm still concerned about the size of the footprint that we're reducing it to, because all it's going to be used for is shade.
Well, as of today.
For now, yes.
Right, but
Right, but
there's optionality there in the future to use it for some other programming, but just not chess, right?
yeah.
Unfortunately, kids don't want to play chess, I guess.
I think the pieces walk off.
Or they eat the pieces.
I think the pieces, I know when we go on vacation, you check out the chessboard, it's always busy, but I'm pretty sure they probably grew legs, the pieces.
Probably. I understood. My understanding is it didn't work well before. I wasn't here at that time, but
Yeah, there's no one there monitoring it.
yeah.
Well, I mean, my opinion is, yes, it's a lot of money, Brian, for shade structure, but shade is a premium, right, at this facility, because other than that, this one tree here providing some shade at that point of day, I mean, that area is pretty wide open, right? So having a refuge that you can repurpose into something in the future, I think is useful.
And without shade, artificial turf turns into an oven.
So, well, and we're exposing more of it at this point, too.
Yeah, we are, but it does turn into an oven.
Anyone else? Did you need direction from us tonight?
We were just asking for a recommendation to continue forward with this project as previously approved with a funding agreement, but wanted to make that correction first to the size of the structure, since that was a mistake made in the last presentation. So,
Okay.
You said the blue is 30 by 30?
yes.
So the original one is maybe 35 by 35?
It was
It's
a
not
little
much.
bit under 40 by 40, but it's not a square.
Yeah.
It was, it wasn't
Yeah, okay.
quite a square structure. The shade it will provide will be pretty similar to the footprint that was there before. But again, those footers have some big concrete footers in the ground there, because those are about 12-inch posts. So we had to move inside of that a little bit to build the new one.
And I assume the blue is basically centered as best it can be within the square, if not the chessboard.
Yeah, you'll have it's between 9 and 10 feet on each side.
Okay.
It'll be centered, yeah.
And what was the final cost to do it, the 30 by 30?
It was 61,000, make sure.
61,000 and change, I believe.
It was,
It was like 60-something.
it should be in the agenda briefing, and I don't,
Is it not in our?
I believe it was 61,850, is that right? Sorry, $61,810.58.
Can I ask a shade question? Since there's a big tree there, I don't know if this is even possible, could you like maximize shade so it's not shade over shade, or does that even make sense? Am I making any sense?
Yeah,
It does.
that
Like,
makes sense.
If you scooch it over, you're not double dipping shade.
This picture was taken about, it was around 11:30. And so that's when you'll have some shade from those trees, but in
Yeah,
the
from
hottest
2
part of the
o'clock,
day,
you're not
that's
gonna have any.
that's full sun on that shade.
Yeah.
So I'm
On that
assuming then
chessboard.
that the shade is coming from east? Okay. Yeah, you would be exposed after about noon.
Yeah, the afternoon it's completely exposed, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
good with me. Anybody have any objection to them moving forward? There you go.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is that not a motion?
No, we didn't, you didn't need a motion for that, did you? No.
Okay.
Okay, item number 5, discuss and take appropriate action on a funding agreement with the City of Highland Village to fund a task order with SPI Engineering for professional engineering services related to the 2499 pedestrian tunnel erosion control study. Mr. Phil?
Good evening. How's everyone doing?
Good, thank you.
Awesome. So as the agenda briefing points out, in the October 23rd, 2025 regular meetings, city staff presented a plan to address the erosion and landscape challenges on City Trail there at the 2499 tunnel. And then based off of SPI's input, we provided a plan moving forward. Well, since then, SPI has reevaluated the site and recommended that engineering and landscape architecture services be performed before any improvements are made. This would also include coordination and collaboration with TxDOT to ensure the best possible solution for all parties involved. This also includes Scott, and that's why he's here tonight as well, because this is a drainage project now. This will, well, it's always been a drainage project, but the level of work that needs to be done needs to fall in the area of expertise within the city. So he's going to be basically managing the project. So the engineering and landscape architectural services propose a study of 4 options to address erosion drainage issues at the city, at the trail there, at the pedestrian tunnel. So the study will include, for each option, preparing a cost estimate and opinion of probable cost to identify the most cost-effective alternative to address erosion and drainage issues. And then the 4 options will be accompanied by conceptual landscape renderings and presented at a future board meeting for the board's review and comments and/or recommendation. So the cost of these services is $26,600, and the funding will come from the Highland Village CDC budget. And so, is there any questions before I move forward with the recommendation? Yes, sir.
is your recommendation going to be the 4 options? I guess, what are the 4 options they're going to evaluate?
The 4 options are comprised of
How much was that? I don't,
$26,600.
so it's,
So option A is to reestablish the drainage based on the approved 2014 construction plans. That's going back with the original. As you know, in November, when we did the tour out there, you saw that it was problematic. Option B is reestablishing the drain, or the second option is reestablishing the drainage based on the approved 2014 construction plan and including replacing the landscape with redesigned zero-scape plan, redesign of that, evaluation of options to improve pedestrian safety at the top of the slopes, and then review existing conditions for any ADA accessibility, which is in all 4 of the options. So option 1 is to just go back with what was there before, including the drip irrigation, which is problematic as well.
why would we evaluate something that failed? I mean,
Because the city in 2014 adopted a plan that the city council approved. So the staff had recommended that that be one of the options since it was a initiative, a project or a construction initiative that was approved, and now we're looking at a drastic change or some minor change to it.
But it failed. I mean, we're spending money for somebody to study something when we know it failed.
Right.
That's my issue, is that shouldn't even be an option.
Right.
I mean, we shouldn't be studying something that we literally have 12 years of data of failure.
Right.
How do we remove it from the options?
Yeah,
Is there a
like, I
process
don't know
here?
why that's on there.
Decision
They
now.
failed. We don't want it back, or we're going to be right back here.
Well, I understand your point, but should we not ask what were the true reasons for the failure? Was it?
Exactly.
I get the reasons for the failure, but not studying as a viable, I wouldn't want it as a viable
Right,
option.
but I don't want to remove it until we get the answers to the others. Obviously, you've got something you want to bring,
Yeah.
you want to throw
Well,
in here.
not to rebut, or I'm
Yeah,
just
no,
want to
that's
add to
why
the
we're
conversation
asking.
a little bit. The reason we're looking at the 2014 option is because, yes, it was designed, it was funded, it was constructed, and then you had weather issues that came in. If you go back on Google Earth, and you can go back as far as 2499 being a 2-lane blacktop, and you can watch all the construction moving forward, including this switchback and tunnel. So you had landscape putting in, and it thrived for several years. And then a winter storm came through, of course, and killed some of it. And then you could start seeing a deterioration just over the past, 7, 8 years. So it's not a 14-year deterioration.
So is it more of an-
thrived for the first 7 or 8 years.
That's more of like a forensic inspection?
No, it's an option of, you already have a design plan, getting a new cost and putting it back.
So I think, Scott, the way you're framing that is, the way I hear that, I guess, is if the landscape hadn't have died, right? The vegetative cover there that was providing that stability before, if that hadn't died, then it made, or if we had addressed it sooner, right, to where we had replaced what was killed, right, we could have maybe prevented this from getting as far gone as it did.
That's our thought
But the
process.
design, if, vegetation is established the way it should be, probably would still be working as functioned or as intended, right? Is that
Correct.
a fair statement on why option 1 is viable?
Well, it's still there, yes.
Okay.
And then option 2, of course, is a redesign of the landscape to a xeriscape type vegetation. You want to
And
back?
option 3?
Yeah, no, this is good. You might want to hang out just a little bit. So part of the challenge is also is the type of plant material that they put in is problematic in the fact that it's susceptible to disease and things of that nature. And we've learned since then, we've learned that those types of grasses are problematic. You can go down, George Bush Freeway, and if you see how many times they've re-landscaped that because of the issues that they've dealt with on those slopes, they've created a better landscape project. In addition to that, drip irrigation, it was a great idea when it came out and it was designed in Israel for desert propagation to reclaim some of the desert land. That's where it was originally designed, where they had very little pests. They didn't have deer, they didn't have raccoons, they didn't have squirrels or rats or any of those things. Well, drip irrigation attracts those type of wildlife to that area, especially during the hot parts of the month. In addition to that, the drip irrigation is not like conventional irrigation. In other words, it's not cement welded together. It's a barb that goes in there. So over time, sitting under that mulch, where that mulch can reach up to 200 degrees, you have failure in that. So a lot of that not only was plant issue, weather issue, but also just blowouts that you couldn't see underneath the soil that would cause also to the erosion issues that are out there. In addition to that, the amount of labor for that area is very intensive to maintain, and going down, into the future, we want to put in things that are sustainable, and there's a presentation that's going to be coming to you guys that will show all of the trail nodes, how they've been upgraded and a little bit of redesign with conventional irrigation with very low maintenance, colors, using river rock and things like that. And we're gonna show that in a presentation here in the future, and also show you the cost savings versus what it would have been to hire a landscape architect and pay for those services, and how we save money. But this project, in talking with Scott, he wants to also make sure that the drainage is working properly in that area. We had meetings with TxDOT, as you know, and talked about that area. They have some concerns also. They want to make sure that, that what they have in place as far as structure is not compromised down the road as well. So it's a new design, 4 options. If you want to remove the first one, I can certainly take that under recommendation, ask SPI, or Scott will go back to SPI and do that, and we'll just note it on the briefing when we present it to council that the board had recommended removing, going back with the same plant material and the same irrigation system.
What's the cost? I mean, if it's
$26,600. So this is an area that.
Yeah, it's under about a bit, and it's,
Yeah.
yeah, and really, for 4
Right.
plans,
Right.
that's steel, just saying.
Yeah, but at some point, I'm going to have to present to council this process. I will have to present that to council, even the cost of the engineering, in addition to the opinion of probable costs. You're going to ask that.
But no, yeah, the OPC, but just to give the options cheap.
Yeah.
Hey, Phil, one last question.
You sure?
This is, all 4 options would be the work still done by city staff, right?
Say that again?
The work being done? in
No.
These 4 options would not be,
No.
because we were talking about some of the work being done potentially.
Oh, we've done some work on the other side. We've put a Band-Aid on stuff, and it's working extremely well. This is looking for both sides of that. The worst side would be the west side. That's where we're having the drainage challenges. The east side, we put some riprap in place around some of the erosion areas. Now, there is no landscaping there, but that was one of the options back when I first brought it, was to put some landscaping in that area that would be different from what the landscaping was originally put in.
I guess your question is, will we be executing the plans? Not making the plans or studying it, but would staff be the labor? And
No.
with labor and materials, or we'd have to get a contractor to do that?
We'd have to get a contractor to do it.
Okay.
Yep,
I mean, that was a talking point when we
it was.
were on the trail.
Are our
Yeah.
guys skilled enough to do it?
Well, they are, yes. We would need help, but I can tell you we've got a lot on our plate, and I don't know what the plans look like. Maybe it's something that's developed and we can have a future discussion about what that looks like based off of the options, and see what can happen based off of what option is chosen. So some of this, because I wanted to, you asked for the options, and I didn't go through them all. Would you like me to continue that?
Yes,
So,
please.
because some of the options require a retaining wall. Okay, so
Right, that's a different discussion.
yeah, so this is option 3, evaluation of existing erosion issue and recommend stabilization improvements and/or drainage improvements as well, which I think is needed. Provide a grading plan with a terraced approach, create zero-scape landscape plan for the newly terraced area, evaluate options for improved pedestrian safety at the top of the slopes, which is consistent with the other 2 options, and then review existing conditions for any ADA concerns. And then the 4th option is evaluation of existing erosion issues and recommend stabilization improvements and/or drainage improvements, and evaluation of installing. This goes back to what I presented to the board the first time when we were out there, and installing riprap on all slopes with minimal landscape around the existing switchback and retaining walls. That was what was originally planned, but there needs to be a drainage study done. After talking to TxDOT and, of course, Scott, that's something that they both recommend. Is that fair? Yep.
So why would we have to do a drainage study if TxDOT did a drainage study when they constructed the roadway, and at the roadway it's failing, essentially, right? How much responsibility is TxDOT doing in their easement to correct their issues?
There's none. It's not a TxDOT issue. So the HNTB plans for FM 2499 were designed, they had a drainage basin. This 2014 plan was not even identified or in design phase yet, so that drainage area map for 2499 is totally different than what the drainage area map is for the 2014 city design trail project. However, in that 2014 trail project, there is a drainage area map that's modified using a TxDOT drainage area. New topo and survey was looked at for the city project. What this is just verifying that nothing has changed.
Okay, so essentially, we adopted the drainage issue when we put the tunnel and landscaping in around it. So we changed.
Well, there's been some self-infliction in there with some added stuff over the years, which is no big deal. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
The TxDOT right-of-way comes into the trail area, the landscaped area, whatever, maybe 5 feet. Mm-hmm. And yes, that is an eroded area. However, it's kind of self-inflicted in there with some after the fact installations of some stuff, which can be corrected very easily.
But we have to correct it after we do a study to find out how to correct it.
Well, the study is just to verify the existing drainage basin, make sure nothing's changed, which it hasn't. There hasn't been any additional development in the area, and then verify that the existing swales and the patterns are the same. You got a lot of water going into a hole, and basically, and then you have I don't know, maybe it's a 6-inch wide flume,
right,
that's crossing 240 feet of TxDOT right-of-way to get into a Y inlet and an underground drainage system. It might not be enough.
And TxDOT normally doesn't just look, they do like overall general, they just care what gets to the inlet. They don't really care about swales and fancy things. They just care about their inlet only. And this is more basically taking what TxDOT did and just detailing it out.
Yes. TxDOT has 2 culverts.
Yeah, they only care
that
about
we went
that.
with the highway, and that's all they care about.
Yep, they don't care about the rest.
Those are functioning, they're installed correctly. What the city did is modify those areas, so that's what we have to look at.
Okay, we have to look at that, and we have to study it to figure out what's the best way to do this. Now, if we leave all 4 options on there, which I think we should, because we need to figure out what's going on. the landscaping over there originally, I thought was very nice. I understand the concerns, but going back to what Robert stated, if there's proper maintenance moving forward, more reactive response to any type of issues from weather or whatever, then that should hold up. If it held up before, which we know it did for several years, it was adequate at the time to do it. If we remove the drip irrigation system, put some type of other system, it appears to me that we would have gotten more longevity out of it. I mean, I know considering the harsh winter we had a couple of times, I mean, that doesn't help. But if we don't do anything right away, and then we get spring rains, everything's going to wash away.
Yes.
I mean, I experienced that in my own yard, so.
And I can speak to that as a licensed irrigator that ran tests like this when I was with Richardson ISD. When it came in, I actually installed drip irrigation under turf, landscaping, just right out front of the administrative building because it was a hot new thing. And within 2 years, the amount of maintenance was tremendous compared to your traditional irrigation system. So I no longer allow drip irrigation to be installed in landscaping whatsoever because of that. It has its application in the right areas, in small areas, small beds. My dad has it around in a bed in the front. That's fine, that's manageable. But when you start looking at, a quarter of an acre or, a third of an acre on a slope and trying to maintain that, and then with a blowout, it's extremely maintenance intensive. So if you are correct in that we would go back with a traditional irrigation system with individual bubblers rather than drip irrigation. We would come up with something.
Well, bubblers, they're above ground, aren't they?
They can be. There's many types. You can put them on the end of a 6-inch pop-up.
But that's my concern. If we do it underground, we're going to have essentially the same issue.
No, we won't, because these are glued. The majority.
Rigid pipe.
Yeah, it's rigid glued pipe, and then you have maybe about a foot of flex pipe with a bubbler
Okay.
on the end of it. So there's your maintenance right there.
Okay,
Just that 6 inches.
okay. So,
And we've learned a lot since then as far as landscape and plant material.
yeah,
We're not going back with grasses. Those are susceptible to grub worms and other kinds of things, just like turf grass.
so the action you want from us is what?
Well, here's the thing, the funding agreement is new, right?
Yeah.
We've all learned that from Kevin. This is a non-budgeted item.
Okay,
So to me, it's still going to require a funding agreement because it's a change in the budget.
right.
All right, and if for some reason we don't need the funding agreement, well, okay. But I feel like moving forward, we should at least take action on, proposing a funding agreement if necessary, and if it is, to move forward with it. Because we will have to have some type of amendment to the budget, and why not capture it now?
Right, okay. Anyone?
Yeah, I have one more question. What's the schedule to have the reporting done? When can we expect to see that?
Yeah. He's managing the contract.
Yeah. Once we get a contract, probably 180 days.
To do the study? Is there surveying involved, or?
There is surveying. We got to verify text dots right away.
Okay.
In the meantime, what are we going to do with the erosion? I mean, we're in the middle of a spring right now and potentially could worsen,
They put in some BMPs that are adequate and working now.
and will hold up.
BMPs are best management practices, silt fence.
Okay.
We can add to it if we need to.
Do we have to get a text dot permit with all this?
No, we're not in text dot right away.
Okay.
And then once that's done and we know where we're going, then we'll be able to determine if we can use our own manpower or contract to do it. And then, or I'm assuming that the landscaping contract would be utilized for all the grading and planting and sprinkler work?
If you've already got pricing for it, then I would highly recommend that, but
I would too.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's.
the OPCCs are
That's
going to,
what I'm asking, really, is this $26,000, that's the anticipation to cover all of it, or is it just the study?
that's just a study and providing four options. Well, most of you are on council. If you remember going back on the Highland Shores Boulevard mobility study, this is similar to that. You know, we provided options. I provided, you know, the platinum option, the gold option, the silver option, or the as-is option. And then we went through and discussed everything, and, you know, I'm not going to say that word. ROAs.
The one that goes around in circles?
Yeah, circles. You know, that was in there, and then it was taken out, and then you know, different other things were in there as well. You know,
Essentially,
crosswalks, enhanced crossings.
We'll see a similar thing here then.
This is kind of the same thing.
This is how we can
It's just
fix
in a switchback trail.
Okay. Then the landscaping piece of this, after the study's done and we determine which direction we're going, the landscaping piece, have we already budgeted for that, or is this going to be, an extra item as well?
That's part of the OPCCs.
We have not budgeted for it yet, though. We don't know what the cost is yet.
Okay. Okay. So you need direction on the funding agreement, right, to be presented?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So anybody want to make a motion?
Very much.
I'll make a motion to to take appropriate action on the funding agreement, make a motion to approve to move forward to fund SBI Engineering for their professional engineering services relating to the 2499 tunnel and erosion control study.
Okay, we have a motion. Second, anyone?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. Okay, number 6, status reports on current projects and discussion of future agenda items. Any updates on our current projects?
No.
Okay. Anybody have anything for future agenda items? I would like to get an update, please, on the landscaping on the trail and the primary trail going towards 2499, at 2499 as well, because I know we had done a lot of stuff and there's been some fill-in, but I've not seen anything on that. So I wanted to get an update on that area too.
Okay, would you be okay with pictures in an email?
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
to the board?
Are y'all okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anything else? All right. With that, then let's adjourn this meeting of the Highland Village Community Development Corporation for April 13th. Thank you. Thank you.